given in the beginning. This is an opportunity to ask questions. You may raise your hands on this platform, or you may deposit the questions on the WhatsApp group, parliamentary WhatsApp group, which I will also be checking, and the colleagues will also be assisting me. We do not see any questions at the moment. The chat group also, there is no question. Okay. Ms. Marianne Merton says she cannot find the hand raising function. Okay, you can shoot. And then I see Diane Hawker she will follow Marianne.
Thank you, thank you.
At least Diane Hawker found her hand.
I'm somewhat technologically challenged, so thank you very, very much for this. Presiding officers, it's Marianne Merton from the Daily Maverick. I have a question with regards to some of the security measures in and around Parliament. They came up as somewhat unexpected, given the earlier indications of having a very solemn, dignified state of the nation in keeping with the times we're going through. Basically, Parliament is going to be put under a lockdown from 4 p.m. tomorrow. The roads, quite a lot of roads around Parliament are yet again going to be closed. There's going to be security fences put up. And for example, the company garden, where many people who work in the city go for a quick lunch to sit in the sun, the company gardens also will be shut down. Is there a specific reason for such security measures, given that we have 50 people in the House plus 20 journalists, rather than what we usually have, the big ceremonies? I'd appreciate a comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Diane, from Newsroom Africa.
Good afternoon, Moloto and presiding officers. My question relates to the ultimate cost of this State of the Nation address. I recall in the previous briefing, there was mention that it would be significantly cheaper, but I don't think that there was a final number. Can Parliament say how much South Africa has saved with this hybrid session?
Thank you very much, Dan. I don't see any other questions, so let's take this as the first round. Presiding officers, there is the questions, two questions from, one from Marianne regarding the security measures around the precincts of Parliament. I think this is mostly outside of Parliament, and also the issue of the cost. Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Facilitator. The security question, as they say in Sotho, you do it, you are in trouble. You don't do it, you are equally in a mess, in a difficulty. Everything has been done to ensure adequate security. We have taken steps to ensure that we don't overdo it. But at the same time, as we all know, security is a standard requirement for these kind of events. So there is security. It is adequate, and I'm sure it's not overdone. It's in keeping with the requirements and demands of the moment. The question of costs has been raised and addressed in previous briefings. All we can say is that compared to what Parliament has spent in the past, there are significant savings, and all money that's not used will be diverted to the urgent and serious needs in the work of Parliament. And as was explained last time, one of the things that we need to do is really to ensure that we beef up our own IT and related work. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Speaker, I see you are.
Can I add?
Screen. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think as to the exact costs, we did in our press briefing last week say that we expect that the only costs that we will bear in this particular SONA as Parliament will be the costs of paying for the virtual connectivity. Thus far, Parliament is estimating just over 100,000 for this whole exercise. We also think that if you want to add a few more runs, we could add the candles we will be buying from now onwards towards the memorializing the deaths of the citizens in our country, because we'll continue with those candles. And Chairperson of the NCOP is right, is a matter that concerns us, but that we actually can openly, Chairperson, say that we will be concerned with what happens within the perimeters of Parliament. We can assure you that there will not be any security there, except those that are for the person of the President and the usual parliamentary whatever. We may assume that, and we will double check that when we finish here, that the control those matches. We usually encourage the matches and whatever to be in the other areas. So South Africans, however, are free to match, and I suspect they will avail themselves situation. But we can say that we are not involved in ensuring any Parliament needed. We are going to be having 50 or less MPs. So what will happen elsewhere, and I hope that we shall, after this Chairperson, presiding officers, be appraised as to whether there are any anticipated. Remember, they usually are there for the ceremonial duties that they perform. Those duties are not there, and therefore within the perimeters, there will be none. Thank you, Chair. Facilitator.
Honorable Speaker, we apologize. There was just a break, I think, because of the poor bandwidth, as it is indicating on the screen. Quite a significant, important aspects of your remarks were missed. I'm not sure if the speaker is able to, we can come back to you later when the network is much stronger before we finish, just to perhaps sum up that, what you were saying,
okay.
Just to summarize so that they can be able to get it properly. Apologize for that. There is another question on the chat from Gay Davis. And the question is, where will the candlelight ceremony take place? Presiding officers?
Are you really waiting for the chairperson or the speaker to report?
it will take place at a designated place, and that's not far from the entrance to the building. I don't know if other presiding officers want to explain any further. It's a spot, it's a place not far from the entrance. And I'm sure it will be convenient for everyone, including the media that will be there.
Yes, indeed, Chairperson. Deputy Chair, I see you want to speak.
I just thought to assist my chair to say that yes, indeed, since there will be a different way in which we are doing the proceedings this year. So the candle lighting ceremony will take place just right inside the foyer of Parliament, as I am sitting now to my left, but it will be on the right side of the entrance. And also it will be covered directly by our broadcasting apparatus. It will be covered directly, but it will also be visible on all the screens in and outside of Parliament. I think that kind of information is what the media possibly can do something with, but it is something very significant, particularly in the light of where we are finding ourselves as the globe currently within the issue of the pandemic and lives lost through the pandemic.
Indeed, thank you very much, Deputy Chair. Deputy Chair is indeed correct. It will be broadcast live on the, it will be carried by the major broadcasters as well as the Parliament television and on the screens. So we are not anticipating that the media will be in attendance because of the size of the space. It's very small, and we want to ensure that there is no violation of social distancing principles as well. Thank you very much. Dan, I see your hand is still up. Is it a new hand or an old one?
It is what you call a new hand.
Okay, sure. You can go ahead.
New question.
Can you put your camera because I understand this briefing is being carried live on television, and as a television person, I'm sure you also want to assist that process as well.
Okay, Moloto, no problem. So my follow-up question, and thank you to the response on the first question, was just about some of the members of Parliament who are not going to be there. The list that you issued doesn't include any members from the EFF. I just wanted to clarify whether that means that they are not partaking in the event or just not sending any members to the proceedings at Parliament. And then just another question about some of the formal aspects, of course, have been removed, but I wanted to know, one of the important aspects that we often see is the Speaker of Parliament meeting the President on the steps of Parliament before he enters. And I wanted to find out whether we would still have that aspect of the proceedings done perhaps at social distance.
Thank you very much, Dan. I think that is the question, and two questions, one relating to the EFF's presence in the House, and the other one relating to how this president will be met. Is it as usual on the steps of the National Assembly? And the third one is coming from the WhatsApp group from Gay. It says, other than the president, who else will be part of the candlelight ceremony? I think we did indicate in the statement that it will be the president and the presiding officers, the chairperson of the NCOP and the National Assembly speaker. But there are other questions that I've indicated, presiding officers.
Can I take the
Yes, ma'am.
the EFF question?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
All members of parliament, all parties will participate in SONA. If this allocation given to parties, and the numbers are as Muloto read out. The EFF will not be in the chamber, they will all participate on the virtual. As a matter of fact, it would be nothing out of the ordinary because some parties since COVID and the lockdown have fully participated on the business of parliament on the virtual form. It's quite okay, because in any case, we're not going to accommodate all parties. If you look at the numbers, you will also notice that other parties will have one person representing the party in the House. So there's nothing untoward with the EFF participating, all of them on the virtual platform. You then asked about first question, whether the president, no, we have also said we are not going to have any red carpet. So we're not going to be working with the president on the red carpet on the steps. The president will come in and we will meet the president just outside the chamber of the National Assembly and walk in, do the candle lighting and walk into the house. So there is no ceremony, they're walking about and whatever. We want to express our loss in the simplest way as we can as Parliament on this serious loss that we are suffering as a country because of COVID. We have absolutely no other parangs. We will be very solemn. We are hurting. We have lost members. We have lost relatives. South Africans are dying. And that is why we take this SONA very seriously and as dignified as we can in our expression that SONA is important. It has to take place every year. But also that we want to focus on helping ourselves and our citizens out there to deal with the scourge and to unite South Africa as much as possible in making sure that we all survive the scourge.
Ma'am, towards the end of your response, your network seems to be suddenly very good. I'm not sure if whether you are able to repeat an aspect of the EFF's presence in the House. I think that is where there was a quite
okay. No, I was simply saying the EFF will participate fully, as usual, on the virtual platform. They have elected not to send a representative into the House. They are not the only party that has done so. Some of the parties are sending only one rep into the House for the virtual platform. That's in essence what I was saying.
I think while we are still taking advantage of the sudden improvement in the connectivity, can you also deal with that question of security?
Oh, I was saying that we will confirm with the executive why there is a definite closure of roads. As far as we know, within the precinct parliament, there will be no security. And that is where our jurisdiction starts and ends as parliament. But we do know that there are a number of people and organizations that want to march. And I was saying that perhaps subject to confirmation with the security cluster ministers, they can tell us whether the road closures are related to that. But as far as we know, we will not have soldiers or police within the precinct, and therefore the road closures really cannot be explained by ourselves. We take it that there must be a good reason, but we think that the security cluster ministers are better placed to respond to that.
Thank you very much. That was perfectly clear. I see the hand of Diane is still on. I don't know whether Yes, I will ask again whether it is new or old. Is it new or old then? Dan Hawker.
Gone, it's gone. It was
okay.
Sorry, Moloto, my connection's giving me problems. It's an old hand. You can move on.
Okay,
Thank you.
It's an old hand. Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any other question from the WhatsApp group or on the chat. Can I get confirmation that there's no any further question? I know that Babala, Ndenze, you were indicating that your question has not been answered, and I believe that is related to the security outside of Parliament, which the speaker just dealt with now. Can I just get an indication before I close the media briefing and give the presiding officers the last shot to say anything in closing? If there's anything else that I might have missed, any question? Okay, I believe that there is no any other question. Presiding officers, anything in closing that you may want to say?
Can I,
Deputy Speaker?
When the speaker said, and she's here, she can confirm it, that there is no security inside Parliament, she didn't mean that the usual parliamentary protection services will not be there. They will be there. It's there. There's no question about that. So as a person who comes from the security cluster, she knows we can't afford not to have that. It was just the way of speaking that she put it across. So we just want to assure members, especially who will be there and so on, that in the internal space of Parliament, the usual protection services will be available, generally speaking, as is usual under ordinary circumstances. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Subject to the regulations.
Yes, yes.
Subject to the COVID regulations.
Absolutely.
So you will not have hundreds of people within the perimeters. That one is not going to happen.
No. Yes, no. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct. The regulations must be, they are ours, those regulations. So we have to comply with it. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you very much for clarifying that. Thank you. Let me take this opportunity then to thank the presiding officers and also thank the members of the media for your presence and to indicate that indeed it's all systems go tomorrow, including with regard to the accreditation for the members of the media. And you have received communication in this regard, and any questions regarding this process, there is a WhatsApp group, and all of you are on the WhatsApp group, and we'll deal with it then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, presiding officers. Thank you very much, Acting Secretary to Parliament, members of the media, and colleagues. The press briefing is adjourned. Thank you very much.
This portfolio committee as if it's your study group, Chairperson. We are colleagues. You're not the boss of this portfolio committee. I'm raising point of you kick me out as if I'm a student in your study group. I'm not a student in the study group. I'm just as your equal in this particular portfolio committee. And the department has to answer my questions as well as they do yours.
Off that camera, switch off that mic.
You're not the boss of the portfolio committee, Chairperson. Treat me like an equal. I know it is hard because I'm a young black woman, but treat me like an equal. Don't throw me out because we have a disagreement. I have as much right to be here as you. Don't say I'm not allowed in the portfolio committee. I was voted for by South Africans for the EFF to come here and represent them. You can't say I'm not allowed here anymore.
Chairperson, please.
You can't make those kinds of deliberations. You know it is very unfair. You know very well it is very unfair. I've been quiet since you kicked me out. I came back in and kept quiet. I'm asking for a follow-up question. You don't want to give me a follow-up question. For what reason? For what reason?
Honorable Chair, the reason is right before you.
This is
raise a point of order.
This is very wrong, Chairperson. I'm a member of this portfolio committee, and I have as much equal stake as you do in this particular portfolio.
Point of order, Chair.
I also want accountability from the National Department of Health. I want them to tell us which date for the first batch of
the point of order.
They are coming here and misleading the nation, saying they only knew after the first, they only procured AMA vaccine way in advance. The information of the first variant came out.
On the
18th of December. I'm asking for accountability, something that we should all do.
Honorable Chiro, you are out of order. You are out of order. You must
She's not talking to you. She's not talking to you.
You must stop this.
She's talking to the chairperson.
Chairperson, please control your meeting.
We're supposed to hold him accountable. This thing of giving ministers immunity is wrong. Stop giving the ministers and
IT. Who is controlling these mics? I've told you 15 years ago, this meeting will not have Honorable Chirwa part of it. For the rest of this day, she's not part of this meeting. Why have you allowed her to speak for the last 3 minutes? I'm now asking the IT people first, before we move on to the meeting. That was communicated to you. She's not procedurally part of this meeting. I had made that ruling, and this meeting still continues. Why have you allowed her in? Ms. Machalamba, I would like to know the person who is supporting this portfolio committee with the IT system. I would like to know that person, because I would like to report that person to the House Chair. I made a ruling that Honorable Chirwa is not part of this meeting at a particular point. And now I was taking new hands, and she comes in again. The following members have requested to come in: Honorable Van Staden, Honorable Kwahube, Honorable Jacobs. I don't know as well as there's another hand. Those
and
three.
myself, Chair.
Honorable Dr. Tembegwayo, yes. Can I take those 4 hands? Honorable Van Staden, you are number 1, followed by Honorable Kwahube, Honorable Jacobs, Dr. Jacobs, and Honorable Dr. Tembegwayo. 4, please.
Chairperson, I wanted the clarity from the minister himself, but he has left already, so I won't be putting forward the follow-up question this stage. Thank you.
Honorable Kwahube.
Thanks, Chair. This relates to what Dr. Pillay had said. I mean, I want to just get this straight, so that I'm not confused. Is Dr. Pillay saying that upon the negotiation of the vaccines with the Serum Indian Institute, the issue around its shelf life was not considered? Therefore, in the negotiations around pricing, around delivery dates and the like, this never came up until the stock arrived in the country. That for me is where I just want clarity, because it would seem to me that that is material information that should be ascertained even before payments are negotiated and the like. And you know, when you say that it was then discovered around, I hear your explanation about the extension of the expiry date, and that's fine, and thank you for that. But I mean, surely
subsequent to that, and that those results were only made available last Monday. Now, I just wanted to correct the matter of fact that the 22% doesn't come from you know, the reports which were indicating all along in terms of the general efficacy of the AstraZeneca vaccine all over throughout the world in terms of the original virus. It was sitting at something like, was it 77% or 75, somewhere there. That was the report which has been existing until the studies which were reported last week, Monday. Thank you.
Honorable Dr. Anpan Pillay, please, can you not bring us a presentation, but write down a narrative that is going to be explaining point number 1. Having understood point number 1, what is point number 2? Please write that narrative and you bring it to secretary of our committee will look into that and engage with that narrative of the events, how events have unfolded, please. And we will then bring this meeting to a close, honorable members. Thank you very much. And thanks to the MEC Northern Cape, who I see has continued to stay with us. And I hope you are more motivated, Honorable MEC Lequen, that we're not as hard as we are now on you. You are having a good time. Thank you very much, honorable members. We'll meet again in the next meeting next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.